having his support, you know what I'm saying? His support is like very, very different from what I've had in the past, and how he speaks to me and stuff is very different. There you go. We deserve each other.
Y'all, listen to this. This IG Live didn't just shake the internet, it scorched reputations. What started as a simple notification spiraled into a full-on emotional collapse when Clarissa's supporters watched her go live, tears falling, and her voice trembling so hard you could feel it through the screen. No filters, no spin, no PR cleanup, just raw emotion and a revelation nobody was ready for. Within moments, Claressa dropped the words that locked the comment section in place. I'm pregnant. But hold up, that wasn't even the real shock. The real bomb was what followed. She allegedly identified Papoose as the father and then stunned viewers by displaying what she claimed was a DNA report with the father's name clearly shown. People froze, screenshots started flying, the chat descended into absolute chaos. Then the mood flipped from disbelief to betrayal. Claressa allegedly said she was used for clout, for money, for intimacy wrapped in promises of marriage that never truly existed. She claimed the relationship rested on one condition: I'll marry you. According to her, everything shifted the moment the pregnancy became real. Calls stopped coming through, messages suddenly went silent, and then came the twist that set everything on fire. She allegedly exposed a secret affair. Mid-life, whispers of Tiki surfaced as she accused Papoose of living a double life while discarding her in plain sight. Not quietly, publicly, pregnant, isolated, betrayed. Her voice cracked as she said she begged for support and was allegedly told, "That's not my problem." The comment section split instantly, some yelling exploitation, others questioning the receipts, everybody locked in as the situation unraveled live. Claressa closed with a line that echoed across the internet. I couldn't stay silent. The live ended, but the storm was only getting started. Clips spread everywhere, headlines caught fire, gossip pages crowned it the most explosive controversy of the year. And now the question burning across every timeline is simple. Who's telling the truth and who just got exposed?
Have two more fights this year. Then after that, take off a little bit of time, maybe have a kid or something, and then come back and fight some more.
Becoming, it doesn't mean I'm not going to have time for the other kids, but it does mean that I have a new baby and I have to focus and give that baby my undivided.
Always the light-skinned girls who think they just so pretty and just because they born light-skinned that they just all that they can come up with shit talk.
Best friend. I talk to him about everything, and when like the time is right, people want details of.
Buckle up, because listen to this. What unfolded on that IG Live wasn't just another celebrity confession. It was a slow-burning collision between fame, trust, and a truth that refused to stay buried. No music, no countdown, no intro, just Claressa Shields staring into her phone like she already knew the internet was about to flip on its head. At first, people assumed it was just another emotional check-in. Celebrities cry online all the time. But hold up, this felt different. Her eyes looked heavy, not performative. Her pauses weren't dramatic beats. They felt like someone deciding in real time whether staying silent was still worth the pain. Comments flew by, hearts floated up the screen, and then she said it. She was pregnant. The chat froze for a split second before completely erupting. But what came next hit even harder. Claressa didn't tease it. She didn't dance around it. She flat out claimed Papoose was the father. According to viewers, the second his name left her mouth, the live stopped being a confession and turned into a moment. Screenshots started immediately. Screen recordings multiplied. People were already blowing up group chats before she even finished the sentence. Then, without warning, she allegedly held up what she said was a DNA report. She didn't linger. She didn't zoom in long. She didn't give anyone time to process, just long enough for viewers to catch the name listed under father. That's when the live crossed from emotional into explosive. Real or not, misread or disputed, the image alone sent the internet into freefall. Claressa's voice cracked as she began explaining what she claimed happened behind closed doors. She alleged she was pursued, promised stability, promised marriage, not casually, not vaguely, but repeatedly. According to her, the relationship was built on assurances that made her feel safe enough to trust, safe enough to commit, safe enough to believe this wasn't temporary. She said the intimacy came with conditions, words spoken, futures painted, timelines implied. She claimed that as long as everything stayed quiet, everything stayed good. But the moment the pregnancy became real, something shifted. She alleged that calls went unanswered, messages turned dry, then they disappeared altogether. Support turned into distance, and distance, she said, turned into abandonment. The live didn't slow down. If anything, it grew heavier. Claressa alleged she wasn't just left emotionally, but publicly discarded. She claimed she wasn't given a private conversation, a plan, or even basic respect. Instead, she said she was pushed into silence while watching someone else move freely, untouched by the fallout she was drowning in. Then came the allegation that truly detonated the moment. Claressa claimed she discovered a secret relationship, one that had allegedly been running parallel while she was being reassured. Names started popping up in the comments before she even finished her thought. She didn't confirm specifics, but she didn't shut it down either, and the implication alone was enough. According to her, it wasn't just cheating, it was a double life. Her tone shifted, not into rage, but into clarity. She claimed she realized she had been useful, not valued, that her presence mattered only when it served a purpose. She said she felt chosen when convenient and invisible when it wasn't. And now pregnant, she said she felt erased. What shook viewers the most wasn't even the allegations themselves. It was how calmly she said them. No yelling, no theatrics, just exhaustion. She said she asked for support and allegedly received dismissal. She said she tried to keep things private until privacy started costing her sanity, and at that point, she claimed silence became self-destruction. As she spoke, the comment section split in real time. Some flooded her with support, calling her brave, honest, and emotionally manipulated. Others questioned timelines, demanded receipts, and dissected every word. The live turned into a courtroom with no rules and thousands of jurors arguing at once. Claressa didn't engage with the noise. She spoke like she wasn't reading anything at all. She said she wasn't there to convince anyone. She said she was there because carrying the truth alone felt heavier than carrying backlash. According to her, the baby changed everything. Not because it trapped her, but because it forced her to stop pretending she was okay. She claimed the hardest part wasn't the betrayal, it was the loneliness that followed. Being pregnant while watching the person she trusted move on untouched. Being reduced to a headline before she could even process becoming a mother. Being judged by strangers while allegedly being ignored by the one person she thought would stand beside her. Toward the end of the live, her voice dropped. She said she knew what was coming. She knew people would doubt her, attack her, accuse her of clout chasing. She said she accepted that risk because she refused to let her child grow up inside a lie. According to her, speaking up wasn't revenge, it was survival. And then she ended it. No dramatic exit, no plea for sympathy, just one simple line. She couldn't stay silent anymore. The screen went black, but the impact? That didn't fade. Within minutes, clips were everywhere. Blogs raced to frame the story. Commentators picked sides. Some demanded answers. Others urged caution. Everyone had an opinion, but no one had the full truth. And that uncertainty, it only made the fire bigger. By nightfall, this wasn't just viral anymore. It was a controversy with momentum, a story still unfolding, still disputed, still raw. Allegations hung unanswered, reputations felt fragile, and one thing became clear. Whatever really happened behind closed doors, the silence was officially broken, and this was just the start. Once the clips escaped the live and started circulating, the narrative stopped belonging to Claressa altogether. It mutated. Every repost added a new angle. Every caption injected opinion. Every pause in her voice got analyzed like evidence under a microscope. This wasn't a conversation anymore. It was a public trial without rules, without a judge, and without mercy. Accounts that had never mentioned her suddenly treated her story like breaking news. Slow-motion replays zoomed in on her expressions. Lip readers swore they caught hidden meanings. Commentators froze frames of the alleged document she flashed and debated font size, layout, and timing. No one agreed on anything except that something irreversible had happened. What made it darker? The silence on the other side. No response, no clarification, no denial, just absence. And in internet logic, absence never reads neutral. It reads as a strategy, or worse, confirmation. Fans started filling in the blanks themselves, connecting dots that may or may not have existed, turning speculation into narrative, and narrative into belief. Supporters framed Claressa as someone who trusted the wrong promises. They said her words didn't sound rehearsed, didn't sound manipulative, didn't sound like clout chasing. They pointed to the exhaustion in her posture, the way she hesitated before speaking certain words, the way she never asked for sympathy. To them, that wasn't performance, it was a collapse. Critics were louder. They questioned timing. They questioned the motive. They asked why now. They suggested clout, leverage, and pressure. They accused her of weaponizing vulnerability. And yet, even skeptics felt uneasy, because even doubt couldn't erase the image of someone breaking down while claiming abandonment during pregnancy. Then the story widened. Old interviews resurfaced. Past comments got dragged into the present. People started rewatching moments that once seemed harmless, searching for foreshadowing. Anything could become proof if framed the right way. Anything could become a red flag. The name she allegedly hinted at became unavoidable. Fans flooded that person's pages with accusations, questions, and demands. Silence again. And silence became its own language. Some read it as guilt, others as legal caution. Either way, the lack of clarity fueled the storm. What got lost in all of this? The human cost. Claressa didn't go live again. She didn't post follow-ups. She didn't clarify or escalate. She disappeared from the noise she had ignited, leaving the internet to argue with itself. And that disappearance shifted the tone. What started as outrage slowly curdled into something heavier, concern. People began asking if she was okay, if she had support, if speaking out had isolated her even further. Some noticed she stopped interacting completely. Others claimed her inner circle went quiet. The woman at the center of the fire wasn't fueling it anymore, and that unsettled even the doubters. Behind the scenes, according to whispers online, pressure mounted. Brands were watching closely. Teams allegedly scrambled. Lawyers were speculated about, but never confirmed. Every move, or lack of one, became tactical. The story wasn't just emotional anymore. It was strategic, and still no official statement. That vacuum hardened the narrative. For many viewers, the absence of rebuttal left no room for nuance. It created conclusions. People don't wait for facts in moments like this. They pick sides, and once sides are chosen, evidence becomes optional. What made it even more volatile? The timing. Cultural conversations around accountability, power, and private harm made Claressa's claims resonate far beyond her own situation. To some, this wasn't about two people anymore. It was about patterns they recognized too well.
Others pushed back, warning against internet convictions. They reminded audiences that allegations aren't verdicts, emotion isn't proof, silence isn't admission. They urged patience, but patience doesn't trend. Outrage does. Days passed and the story refused to cool. Each attempt to move on pulled it back into focus. A like, a cryptic post, a missed appearance, everything fed speculation, everything felt loaded. What remained undeniable? The shift in perception. Whatever the truth behind closed doors, public image on all sides had changed. Trust fractured, doubt settled in, and resolution wouldn't come easily, no matter what was said next. This wasn't a scandal that burned fast and faded. It lingered. It resurfaced at inconvenient moments. It followed everyone involved like a shadow, the kind where even clarity, if it ever came, would arrive too late to undo the damage. And beneath all the noise, arguments, and theories, one reality remained: a pregnancy, a future, a child whose story had already been dragged into public before it even began. And still the internet kept talking, the headlines kept spinning, the silence stayed heavy, and with every unanswered question, the tension only grew, pulling the story closer to a breaking point that hadn't yet arrived. As the pressure simmered, the story spiraled into an entirely new dimension. Claressa Shields' name became a lightning rod across every platform. Every snippet from that live, every alleged claim, every gesture, real or not, was scrutinized, replayed, and debated. She wasn't just a celebrity anymore. She became a symbol of betrayal, survival, and public scrutiny. The conversation expanded beyond her alone. It grew into a cultural commentary on trust, manipulation, and exposure. Rumors of legal action started circulating. Anonymous sources allegedly close to the situation said lawyers were preparing statements, while others suggested quiet settlement talks behind closed doors. Yet nothing concrete emerged, and in that vacuum, narrative hardened into conviction. Social media accounts acted like courtrooms with millions of self-appointed jurors weighing in, passing verdicts, assigning blame, defending honor, all at once. The alleged DNA report, already shared in fragments, continued circulating. Fan pages cited experts analyzing authenticity. Critics questioned the methodology. Supporters rallied behind her courage. Every angle was a battlefield, every comment ammunition. And at the heart of it, Claressa's voice from that original live echoed louder than any trending hashtag. She was alone, betrayed, facing motherhood under circumstances she never imagined. Reports surfaced alleging Papoose had been living a separate life publicly while denying promises privately. Online sleuths traced connections, linked past posts, and compared statements. Verified or not, the pattern suggested deliberate manipulation. Followers dissected every public interaction, trying to reconcile the alleged timeline with the emotional fallout she described. Meanwhile, discussions about Tiki intensified. The alleged secret relationship became the focus of debate and outrage. Fans demanded answers. They demanded confrontation. They demanded justice. Memes, reaction videos, and news segments amplified the drama. Every angle added fuel to the fire. The story became bigger than the individuals involved. It became a viral phenomenon, a spectacle of emotion, betrayal, and social media's power to turn private pain into global headlines. Through it all, Claressa receded into near silence. She posted little, responded less. She let the live speak for her, and the effect was chilling. Without her direct interaction, narratives multiplied uncontrollably, opinions hardened, allegations gained credibility simply through repetition, support and criticism merged into a chaotic storm of virality. The emotional weight of a publicly abandoned pregnant woman became central to the discourse. By now, the story wasn't just one live or one announcement. It had evolved into a sprawling saga. Headlines screamed betrayal, exploitation, secrets, and deception. Viewers debated morality, fame, and accountability. Allegations were dissected in forums. Every revelation from the initial live seemed to grow in significance with each retelling. Emotional intensity multiplied. Sadness, shock, anger, disbelief. Every new clip reignited outrage. Every misstep suggested confirmation. Every silence spoke louder than words. The pressure on Claressa, real or alleged, became part of the story. Analysts suggested mental strain. Supporters highlighted resilience. Critics questioned motives. But no one could deny the emotional gravity of a scenario in which someone publicly revealed pregnancy, betrayal, and abandonment, and the world decided in real time how to interpret her truth. Every media outlet jumped in. Social media accounts, fan pages, YouTube channels, and gossip blogs dissected every second. Alleged screenshots, alleged messages, and alleged behaviors were presented as evidence. The story transcended traditional reporting. It became a relentless, emotionally charged spectacle. The internet itself became a courtroom. Claressa's life became the evidence everyone argued over, analyzed, and reinterpreted endlessly. Despite the chaos, the central tragedy remained unmistakable. A woman allegedly manipulated, betrayed, and left to face pregnancy alone had entered the public imagination, not as a private figure, but as a symbol of human vulnerability and emotional intensity. Fans felt pain. Critics felt satisfaction. Observers felt fascination. The narrative, fueled by allegations and amplified by virality, spiraled uncontrollably. And while the story expanded in every direction, one thing remained clear. The initial live was not the end, it was the spark. Every allegation, every interpretation, every viral clip was built on that spark. What began as a personal revelation became a global spectacle. Claressa Shields' announcement and the alleged betrayals behind it had forever altered perceptions. It ignited debates. It created a viral narrative that would continue to shock, sadden, and captivate audiences worldwide. The silence that followed didn't calm the storm. It escalated. The absence of statements, the unanswered questions, the lingering allegations, they all kept the story alive, potent, and dangerously explosive. Millions were watching, millions were talking, millions were deciding what the truth even meant. Through it all, the emotional weight of Claressa's revelation, her alleged abandonment, her alleged betrayal, her confrontation with the public, remained the undeniable center of a viral tragedy that refused to fade. If you think the story ended there, think again. Claressa Shields Live didn't just drop shocking revelations, it unleashed a hurricane of questions, accusations, and raw emotion the world can't ignore. Millions are still replaying the clips, analyzing every pause, every glance, every tear. The alleged betrayals, secret relationships, broken promises, and public dumping created a narrative so intense, so explosive, it feels like nothing will ever return to normal. Social media is on fire. Hashtags trending. Screenshots are spreading like wildfire. Everyone has a theory, but only one person lived the truth. You saw the tears. You saw the DNA report. You saw the allegations of manipulation, fame, money, and heartbreak. You saw a life exposed, a pregnancy turned public spectacle, a woman forced to confront betrayal in real time while the world watched. This isn't just gossip. This is emotional warfare broadcast for millions. Every viewer now has a front row seat to a personal tragedy gone viral. And the fallout? Far from over. The question isn't just what happened behind closed doors. It's who will be held accountable, who will speak next, and how much more will the internet consume before the story finally settles. Claressa's voice may have been silenced after the live, but the impact resonates louder than ever. Every allegation, every claim, every heartbreak has sparked a conversation about truth, betrayal, and survival. The time to act is now. Share the story, spread the clips, debate the claims, demand answers. Make your voice part of the narrative, because silence only fuels speculation.
This is bigger than headlines. This is a live, emotional, viral moment the world won't stop watching. Don't look away. Witness it. React to it. Engage with it. The controversy is still unfolding, and every second counts. Millions are watching. Millions are talking. Millions are waiting for the next explosive update, and you cannot afford to miss a single moment.